So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Not a great day for Aston Villa today. Aston Villa, I don't know what's going on here. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 3, and not a good day at the office as my camera won't focus here for whatever reason. There's no easy way to say this. That performance was one that reeks of a lot of issues today in that performance. So many silly things, and we spoke about it in the team sheet tantrum. We mentioned that Philogene was a completely out of the box selection in a lot of ways, and he was exceedingly poor today. And I'm going to start off with parsing this in one way. And I see I've read through a couple of the comments there, and some people were saying, should we start having second thoughts about Unai Emery? We can discuss about the fact that he's made 2 changes to the starting 11 in the last 2 games, and both of them have been the weak link by halftime. By halftime, they looked like they were done, and that for me is something that needs to change. I think. So, what I mean by that is Lamar Bogart was hooked at halftime last week, wasn't particularly great, and Philogene was brought in this week, and it didn't change anything. In fact, if anything, it made the performance worse. So the reason that I wanted to start off with that is I genuinely believe that of the 11 players, of the however many players that played today, and the manager, I think everybody deserves a piece of the blame. The players themselves that played today were not up to standard. Midfield was like a dual carriageway at times. There was a massive gap in the middle, as highlighted by the by the second goal more so, but as highlighted by the first 2 goals. Yuri Tielemans in the last 2 league games have been very poor in defence. He's been targeted for 2 or 3 instances of people dropping off. As strikers dropping back, and he has no answer to it, or he's had no answer in the last 2 games, and it's okay to call that out. He's been our player of the season up to now, but in this game specifically, they ran through him like a dose of salts. We could get nothing going, and when we did, we had a glorious chance from Ollie Watkins, and his finish was just very poor finish. Yeah, he tries to go under the legs of Bobby Sanchez, but wasn't happening. That wasn't happening at all, and it's worrying. You know, it's worrying. There's quite a lot of questions to be asked about that performance, or of the performances of the last 8 games. And we can sit here and we can talk about it. And you know, as I say, we are a positive podcast. We don't shy away from that. But you know, when you see certain situations here, where by the second goal, watch back the second goal. The second goal nearly made me pull my fingernails out with vice grips. The lack of communication. I highlighted this in the Juventus game. And by the way, Paddy won't be on, so I'm just going to have a little soliloquy myself for about 10-15 minutes just to try and get this out of my system. I'll be going on the Claret and Blue pod with Dan Ronaldson afterwards, so bear with me on this one. The second goal that they scored was absolutely horrendous from a defensive point of view. And the reason I say that is because against Juventus, right wing Bailey and Matty Cash, there seemed to be no communication from the winger. Not Matty Cash issue for the communication side of things. I'll get to him in a moment. The communication between Philogene and Matty Cash was non-existent. You see where Enzo Fernandez picks up the ball in midfield, and he's back at the edge of the attacking third. And he walks up to Jadon Philogene and then just literally moves past him, and there was no communication. Philogene doesn't even go anywhere near him, doesn't turn, doesn't look to see where the right full back is, doesn't do anything, just lets him waltz past him. Matty Cash then is in two minds, and he goes to engage, and then as the ball comes across, Matty Cash turns around. There's a full circle in the middle of the box, which I can't understand. And even if he doesn't do anything at all, if he just stands his ground before turning, it blocks the shooting area. But as soon as the ball comes across to Fernandez, he has an actual glide path to go in between the two centre halves who were right beside each other. So going between Kanza, should I say, and Cash. It was absolutely infuriating, and you could see it in the zoomed out view. There was zero communication again on that right hand side, and that to me is not good enough. That is sloppy. That's ill preparedness, and that's players not wanting to put it in on the field. I'm afraid, and I'm saying that from like there was no turning, there was no shout, there was no communication from Philogene there, and Philogene needs to talk in that instance when the player goes past him. He just has to. He didn't look around to see who was there. Might be overly harsh. You guys might say there's a million and one other things wrong. Absolutely, I'm just talking about that instance of play. The game was really infuriating. We've Emi Martinez passing the ball in the 6-yard box almost to Nicholas Jackson. Where are the leaders? Who steps up in that instance? Who is and I've much maligned him on this podcast before, but who is the Roy Keane character that turns around and gets in someone's face and says, stop acting the maggot here. Stop being silly. Grow up in the next 30 seconds or get out onto the sideline. You know, where's the old school bit of bite that was there? We didn't have it. We don't have it in the team. We haven't had it ever, arguably, within the team. We certainly don't have it now. And today, at 25 minutes, there needed to be somebody to get up and start, you know, demanding more in the field. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen. And that's a shame. That's poor because, you know, there was mistake after mistake. There was a back pass that was questionable whether you want to call it a back pass. But, like, that's just... That's lack of concentration from both players. Pau Torres has no business touching the ball. If he does, he's to shout again. Both of them speak Spanish. They need to communicate, and Pau Torres needs to put his foot through the ball. Or Emi Martinez can clearly see the ball has touched his foot. If in doubt, kick it out. But no, you do the silly thing, and you pick the ball up after the person did the silly thing and touched the ball and shielded it and waited for you to pick it up. Two of them are equally to blame. A lot of silly things went on there today. A lot of really, really silly things. I think there was a foul throw as well at one stage. You know, that's lack of preparedness. That's lack of concentration from the players in the field, and those players deserve. They deserve to be told that they were poor today, because they were 1 to 11, 1 to 50. 16. The 5 subs that came on. 4 subs, 5, 4 subs, 5, and a goalkeeper. I don't know. I'm losing track. We're poor today. Martinez made some great saves, don't get me wrong, but like you can't pass the ball to a fella in the 6-yard box and then have to make up for it. It was a super save, but you can't do it. You can't do it. Today is that performance there for me is like that's the performance where there needs to be home truths. After that one today, you can forgive a couple of other ones, you know, potentially. Crystal Palace game was poor. You know, we've been poor. Don't get me wrong, but today was mistakes of our own making, lack of will, lack of desire, at times, lack of gumption. I think, you know, somebody to turn around and go, right, the ball's going to play. Lads, come here. What are we doing in midfield? Why the hell have we got a cavern open in front of us? Why the hell aren't you talking to me, Ezri? Why aren't you talking to me, Philogene? What's the story here? Lads, come on, someone talk, someone do something. McGinn, what are you doing? Why aren't you coming back here? Morgan Rogers, stop going out into the wing the whole time, waiting for the ball to come out to you. Push back inside. Somebody use their brain. There needs to be somebody doing that to rally the troops on the field. And there just isn't. It just did not happen. Did not happen. And that drives me insane. I'm sorry, but, you know, and I'm sure if I go into the comments, we'll say, oh, this person was wrong at this person asked this or that or whatever like that. But there needs to be somebody step up here. Really does. In times of crisis like this, somebody needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And when you've got a team that goes out there and plays 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, like the Cole Palmer goal at the very end, give me a break. Takes a free kick, just stays in the same spot, walks 4 yards forward, the ball is passed into him, and he's an open goal essentially to shoot it. Yeah, it looks great. It curls into the top corner, but there wasn't anyone closing him down. There's no one with an ass's roar. It was a bad performance from 11 players that looked lethargic today and looked out of ideas. Looked out of ideas in the field. And that's the worrying part. We can pass the ball around for the sake of it, but they looked out of ideas. Like there was a couple of times whereby we just tried to go over Chelsea's defense in the second half, and it was laughable how far forward the ball, like how overhit the passes were. Like, the Hail Mary stuff in an instance like that from players in the field looks desperate. The passing around the box at times today looked desperate. But that's what's going to happen if you don't have somebody that wants to emerge as the leader in that group. Again, and I've spoken about this a couple of times, and that's what happens. And you will only ever hear this ever be trotted out in times of perceived crisis or where teams are down on their luck, because that's when you need it. No one needs to be led around the field by the hand when things are going great. They really don't. Ollie Watkins, 2 efforts. Ollie Watkins should have scored 2 goals today. There's no doubt about it. I'm the head of the Ollie Watkins cheerleader fan club. That second finish was passed it back to the goalie, like, you know. And you can't have that. You can't have that when it's going to be flashed up for the next, between now and Christmas, most big chances missed in the league this year. That's what, it won't be Ollie Watkins, England striker, that will be flashed up on the screen. It won't be Ollie Watkins, 13 goals so far this season. You will now see, until things turn around for him, Ollie Watkins, most big chances missed in the Premier League this season. You already saw the graphics for Aston Villa, 20th in clean sheets. That's not me having a go at Ollie Watkins. It's just what will happen. 20th in clean sheets, 16th in another metric, 14th in another metric, and stuff like that from a defensive point of view. When those graphics start going up, they don't get taken down for a while. And we're only in the 1st of December. So there's change needed. And what I mean by is changing, and I firmly believe that, as I say, there's change there amongst the group of players. They need to talk to each other. They need to be a bit more ratty with each other. Somebody needs to get ratty inside, or somebody needs to demand more. You can trust the process so much, and that's fine. And Unai Emery, I've no problem with his process. Absolutely none. Okay, should he have made the Philogene change today? No. He shouldn't. It was just a poor choice. Philogene was non-entity for most of the game. Yes, he passed the ball across to Ollie Watkins for the second chance, but he was really non-entity at times. He was poor in defence. He was poor going forward. Who's to say we wouldn't be saying exactly the same thing about Leon Bailey as well? So from that point of view, I can understand why you make the change, but the outcome certainly did not. The outcome was not the desired one. I can see, like, Aston Villa will buy 2 creative players in January, and those people looking for a right back, I would say I probably won't get one. And I don't think it's a massive point of concern. People can disagree with me, but if you don't score goals, you can keep as many clean sheets as you want. You know, we got to start scoring goals. You got to start looking creative. If it's to be believed, Romano Schmidt from Werder Bremen is very much so on the radar. I'll do a piece on him. He's good, but you know, he's not a right winger. Well, he can play kind of across the midfield, but he's not that out-and-out pacey right winger. It's really like the performance is a real difficult one to take, because there was no, like, the bite isn't there, the confidence wasn't there. There was a case there in the first half whereby it like genuinely, it was like pass the ball to somebody and pick a mistake they were going to make, you know. And those 5-10 minutes spells are horrendous when you have to see like that, and you're already 2 goals down, and you see that going on. It's not very confidence inducing. Can they come good again? They absolutely can. So to finish on that point, can they come good again? They absolutely can. But a bad run has turned into a blip, has turned into a bad run, has now turned into a real slump and funk, or whatever you want to call it. And the people that will get themselves out of this will be the players in conjunction with Unai Emery. So we can, I'm not doling out blame to any one player in particular, or I'm not saying Unai Emery is gotten this wrong. I think the whole conglomerate together needs to have a come to Jesus about, where the last 8 games have gone, because it's been Gerrard-esque at times, and that we know this team is better than that. We know this team is by far and away better than that. So it's going to be, it's going to be what it is. We've 7 games in 21 days, or we had that before the Juventus game. Now we've 5 games in 16 days. Something's got to change, or else we're going to be here and we're going to be talking about these results, or these misfiring in front of goal, or calamitous goals at the back, or non-communications in midfield. Things that shouldn't happen when you're 2.5 years into a system change as such. Things that shouldn't happen amongst players above everything else. We can talk about the chop change nature of the team, all right, but these players see each other every day in training. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Other teams can do it seamlessly. It's not like these players, don't play with each other week in, week out. People might think I'm being a bit flippant on that, but I don't buy it. I don't see it as an excuse. I don't see it as an excuse for lack of communication. If anything, it should be an excuse for more communication. Right, Philogene is in there on the right-hand side. I need to make sure I'm telling him about everything. I need to make sure that there's somebody out there, or 2 people out there, that are playing his game as well as their own. We've got experience. We've got players that are experienced and good enough to be able to do that. You see that down in Sunday League, right? The young lads come in in the wing. All right, keep on to him, make sure he's in position, talk to him, be in his ear the whole time. I know Sunday League and Premier League are completely different things, but you transfer the talent upwards. Why can't you do it? Frustrating. And I know you guys probably would have loved to have Paddy on here and we would have got a bit more animated about it, but it's a bit of a low one today, that game, because of the method that we lost, the headless nature at times. Can the team come good? They absolutely can. We know they can. We absolutely know. They've essentially, we could turn it on in the second half of the season, do what we did in the second half of the season, Unai's first year, go back to first principles, and maybe that's what we need to do. But today was not good viewing. It doesn't feel good, and I'm going to go on the Claret and Blue now in a minute, and then I'm going to draw a line under this game, and then it's going to be prove it the next day, because we can talk and moan about it all day long, but games from now on are becoming prove you deserve to be in the first 11, and that goes from 1 to 23 in our squad, I think, at the minute. Anyway, I'm going to leave it, lads. I don't want to whip you up into a frenzy. I don't want anybody to accuse me of being too passive on this as well. I haven't gotten to a lot of your comments. I'll read them all again afterwards. I do appreciate them. Apologies for not getting to them. But I just, I'll try and use these to kind of talk me through my senses as well. You guys can have your chats in the comments. I will read them back. I'm not being flippant about them either. I do appreciate every single one of them, and I thank every single person for watching and for listening to this. We're going to be back soon again with more podcasts. I'm going to do one on Romana Schmidt. I'm going to start looking towards the transfer window, because we need something to move in the transfer window, and I spoke about it in the team sheet tantrum beforehand. But I think it's obvious that we need something to happen on the wings, because we're not getting any purchase or joy in the wings at all, and we will obviously be chatting about the games that are to come. But in the meantime, everybody, look, chins up, be as angry as you want to be about that game today, but the games are coming thick and fast, so have a point and start to go away and do something that makes you happy after watching a game like that. And we will see you the next time. Thanks a million for watching, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always,